One of the best things about a perennial garden is that it gets better with age. Now this is the second season for many of our perennials and we're still putting new ones in. But I want to show you some of our spring flowering perennials that have a lot of color to them. Now keep in mind that we're taping this segment about the last week of April, so they'll probably be blooming a little bit earlier than when you'll actually see them on the show. And many times we don't have massive colors because we just put one or two plants just to kind of show you an idea of what's going on here at our garden. But the first one I want to show you is creeping phlox, and our particular cultivar is Blue Ridge. Now it's a purplish color, bluish purple, but it also comes in a white and a pink. It's a mat forming perennial. It likes lots of shade. It grows about 6 to 8 inches high and spreads about 12 inches. So again, it's more of a creeping or spreading phlox. And there's about 15 different species of phlox. And probably one of the most common that you're familiar with is the moss phlox, which we have in massive plantings, and it's just spectacular in early spring. The species of it is subulata, and it comes in different shades of pinks and purples and whites, and again, the mass plantings are really breathtaking. Now you're probably familiar with an annual type dianthus that we grow in the garden, but there's also perennial dianthus. As a matter of fact, there's over 350 different types of species in this particular genus. Our particular one that's blooming is called Plumarius cottage pink, really dainty pink flowers. It does great in well-drained areas, garden type areas with a lot of rock gardens. It likes full sun, but we kind of have ours in afternoon shade as well. And you want to avoid over mulching the crown because that's the fastest way to kill it. Another one is Virginia. It's really more showy for its foliage than anything. There's about 12 different species. Ours is a pink cup-shaped flower, and it also comes in pink and white, and we have two different species or cultivars, and they have various shades of pink color. Right next to that one is Lungwort. Again, has very unusual, attractive foliage. About 12 species in this one of the Pulmonaria, and it comes in blue, white, pink, red flowers, and it's very unique in that the stem kind of has hairy growths coming off the stem that gives it a little bit different characteristic. Solomon's Seal is really grown more for its texture, and the foliage is very graceful, cascading. It comes a variegated color. The flowers, as you can see, are not real showy as they hang off the stems. They're kind of a greenish-white color. Again, not very showy, but this one last year kind of went dormant on us in the summer because of the winds. But it came back on us this spring. It's spreading a little bit and very attractive and a different kind of characteristic in the perennial garden. Another one next to this particular bed is called dead nettle. There's about 40 species in this particular one. Some people call it very weedy or invasive, but what we found is usually the one with yellow flowers, which we're not using in our garden. We have one that's blooming earlier with a purplish pink flower, and there's also a cultivar called White Nancy that has white flowers. It does spread, so it's more of a ground cover, but not nearly as aggressive as the one with yellow flowers. Another one with an interesting name is called Leopardsbane. There's about 35 species of this one. It has heart-shaped foliage on it and very bright yellow daisy-like flowers. It blooms very early in the spring, one of the earliest blooming perennials, and it really needs partial shade to almost full shade because in full sun in Oklahoma, it will go dormant on you during the summertime. So you need to plan for that and have something else start growing and kind of fill in if it should go dormant on you during the summer. And then it'll start growing again in the fall. The last one I want to show you has truly blue, small, delicate flowers. It's called Brunaria or Siberian bugloss. Has hairy stems as well, kind of round foliage. It's a great border plant, and it grows about 18 inches by 2 feet, depending on where you plant it. Again, ours is very small, so it has a little bit of growth to take on us. Now, again, these are just some of the spring flowering perennials that you can choose from. There are so many, and it's very seldom that we'll do a book review on the show, but I kind of want to show you some good perennial books to help answer some questions that you might have. Now keep in mind, most of these would have to be purchased from a bookstore. I think most people are familiar with the Taylor's Guides. Well, these are pocket guides, one Perennials for Sun and one Perennials for Shade. Again, the Tailor's Pocket Guide. There's also a good book on herbaceous ornamental plants by Stephen Still, and there'll be some perennials listed in this particular book as well as some annuals. Again, herbaceous ornamental plants by Stephen Still. Another one is an HP book called Perennials, How to Select, Grow, and Enjoy Them, and the authors are Pamela Harper and Frederick McGorty. Again, a lot of colorful pictures which are very nice, as well as cultural descriptions. A little bit more expensive book, because it's in a hardback, is the Encyclopedia of Perennials, A Gardener's Guide. The author on this one is Christopher Woods. Also, a lot of good cultural information and some colored pictures. Again, most of these, just by asking for them with the author at a bookstore, if they don't carry them, chances are they can track down the publisher and get them ordered for you. So again, get out in those garden centers and start looking. You'll be surprised at how many different kinds and colors and foliage types there are in your local gardens.